Welcome to lesson 3 of Bonnie Dundee. It even rhymes. Leave a comment for me. Okay, enough of the rhyming. Okay, so there's a link below for all the workshop lessons and the sheet music for you. And lesson 3, this is our last free lesson. And I can't wait to see you in lesson 4, because that's going to be a doozy. So if you do join the workshop, or even better yet, the membership, get access to all my workshops. Lesson 4, we're going to go through that cool ending. We're going to do that ending bit. It's got a crazy Torluith there, but I'm going to show you 2 different ways to make that Torluith easier in lesson 4. Here in lesson 3, we got this kind of neat bit before the ending of line 1. So we're going to walk through that, and then you can of course tag it on to what we've done in lesson 1 and 2. So we're we ended lesson 2 on an E, so let's start on an E here. And we'll do non-embellishments first, and then we'll just add in, we just got 3 grace notes in this little chunk, and they're all G grace notes, top finger of the top hand. So we'll add those in a moment. So on the E, we're going down to the D, so a bit of a tricky transition where lots of fingers on the move. We're lifting up 3 fingers of the bottom hand, at the same time dropping that pinky, and dropping your ring finger of the top hand as well. And then we have this quick C. So we drop the top finger of the bottom hand down to C, but we're not on that C very long before we hop right up to the E. So from C, we've done this transition before, C to E, drop down those middle 2 fingers, lift up the pinky, lift up the ring finger. That's old hat now. So you got that. So just remember that C is quite short. Long, short, even shorter, long. D, da, da, da. That's C short, da, da. And let's talk about that G grace note. So if you want to do that G grace note, it's actually on that short C. So it even gives it like a little bit more punch, a little bit more kick. So if you're doing that G grace note, you're on the D already, G finger, or that top finger lifts up, drop down to the C, top finger comes down. But again, don't let that G grace note slow you down on that C, because we need to get up to that E quite quickly. Okay, and then we have a similar pattern again, but this time we're going to start it all on low A. So we're going to drop to low A from this E. So we start on the E, we go to D, we do that quick C and E, and now we do a very similar thing, but this time we drop down right down to low A. And then we have that again, low A, and then that quick C up to E again. So that quick C and to E is the same. We just did that. This time we're coming from low A. So to get to low A from the E, so you're just going to drop down that ring finger. After you get to low A, and we'll talk about grace notes in a moment, you're on low A, we pop up to C, drop down that pinky finger of the bottom hand, lift up those middle 2 fingers. Again, we're not on that C very long before, boom, we transition up to E, which we just worked on. So you got that nailed down by now. If not, go back to lesson 1, 2, and 3 and pause the video, get that transition down. Because that transition happens a lot. So pause the video, work on that, and then you're good to go. So here, let's talk about the grace notes for a moment. We already talked about that first one. On that short C, our next one is going down to low A from E. So we're on the E, that G grace note finger lifts. We drop down the ring finger, then drop down the grace note finger, the top finger. And this is kind of an interesting arrangement. We have 2 G grace notes in a row. Doesn't happen a ton in bagpipe music. Usually there's a little bit more variety, but in this arrangement we do have 2 G grace notes in a row. So we do G grace note down to low A, and then we do another G grace note up to low C. So that G grace note finger is a busy little finger. So that's how the sheet music is. I've written in that workshop link below. As an alternative, you could, when you're going up to that C, you could do a D grace note if you'd rather. You could mix up grace notes. But I think in this version of the sheet music, it's probably just trying to keep things as simple as we can and just have all G grace notes. And I'm trying to figure out, what do I normally do? I think I normally do a C grace note there, somewhere in there. Yeah, I probably normally do so if it feels weird doing 2 G grace notes in a row, when you go up to that C, you could do a D grace note. So lifting the top finger of the bottom hand, and then you go up to that C position, right? So that pinky finger comes down a little bit ahead of the grace note finger, middle 2 fingers to come up at the same time, a little bit ahead of that D grace note finger. So that would be how the D grace note sounds. If you don't really care, you want to keep it simple, just stick with the G grace note. Totally up to you on that one. Your call. Piper's choice. and so I'll just play through the full first line here so you can, I'm going to do it with embellishments so you can kind of hear how it all fits together. Again, can't wait to see you in lesson 4 in the whole workshop. And we're going to do that cool ending in lesson 4, the ending of the first line, the torluith, and I'll give you 2 easier options for that torluith. If you don't want to do nothing at all, you want to do something, but I'll give you some different options there. So here's the first line, and until next time, keep on piping on.